Hello everyone and welcome to the WNPodcast. There's no Ollie today or Ice Snacks, it's just me at the moment. So if you're expecting them, sorry, but this is going to be a bit of a low-key kind of stream because I recently did a Welsh Census, and what I'm doing in this stream today is going through it because I can't really be bothered to actually go through and write an article on it because it is genuinely dull. Just kind of going through stats and writing notes and then doing it properly. So the purpose of today is to go through the Welsh Census and generally see what's up with it. Haven't actually seen the finished stats. It's going to be interesting for me too. So if you're not into that kind of thing, not into people talking about stats and demographics, then I wouldn't recommend watching, but those who are, should be interesting. So let's get started then. Okay, that's worked. Just checking that worked quickly. Sorry about the weird stuff on screen. So yeah, as you can see, only 16 people answered, which actually is more than I thought would actually answer. I've even got Royal Air Strangelove at the bottom there, having done it, which was surprising actually. So there we go. But if you have any questions about watching this at all, do feel free to write them in the chat. That'll be much appreciated. So let's start going through it. So the first one was kind of a pretty basic one. It was just me asking the gender. I can't remember who said everything. I think it was Ego who said they were female, so actually that is meant to be 100% blue, because Ego is in fact a male, I do believe, unless I've done something horribly wrong there, and I'm really bad at listening, so, whatever. So, that's not really that interesting. The next one along, we had most of the party, it is the party who mainly answered this, despite the fact that I tried to open it to everyone in Wales, so it's pretty much a WNP census at this point, so that should bear that in mind while going through this. So the sexual orientation one, it's predominantly heterosexual. I don't know who put, we got apparently one, I believe one. Yep, one homosexual, apparently. The thing is, take that with a grain of salt, because people are memes. And two people wrote, prefer not to say. So that was interesting to see that we have the potential of having some diversity there. I'm not quite sure though. It depends if Mr. Strangelove is actually a homosexual or not. But I don't know him, so I don't know. I'm going to assume yes, because it makes the game look a bit better than it actually is, so, there we go. This one I found particularly interesting actually, because it turns out the majority of the party isn't actually Welsh, and it's evenly split between English players and Welsh players. Well, really, kind of close. It's the biggest proportion is Welsh. That's 37.5%. But then we have English players at 31.3%, so it's predominantly British. You have to include Wonder, who put himself as British, so I believe it's that one there that's British. Yep, that's Wonder, because Wonder put British. By the way, I'm a bit miffed about that actually, Wonder. If I give the options for nationality, please choose the ones that are there. Makes it a bit easier, but whatever, that's fine. So yeah, we have one Turk apparently. We have an American. And what else? We have Scott, that's Aiden. We have an Egyptian. I don't know who that is. It's like that's really interesting to see we have an Egyptian in the party, because I assumed it was mostly British players in the party who actually answered the poll. I know there are a few who aren't necessarily active on the Discord who are not British, but it's interesting just to kind of see the difference there. That's just me. I'm really boring. Don't worry about it. This one was, if you compare this to the Irish poll I did, I think realistically this is inaccurate in terms of the Welsh population. In terms of the Welsh National Party, Draco's done a very good job at guilt-tripping people into actually getting a higher level, so that's where we find the predominantly 70 to 80 range of level in this. And because it's a small party, I imagine that plays into, because WNP isn't exactly a massive party, it's fairly moderate in terms of, who's in it. And then the fact we have the next largest one being 80 to 90 really does say a lot about the party, so I'm really chuffed with that actually. I'm sure Draco's pretty chuffed with that, but but Draco's very much trying to get this 80.8% figure a lot bigger, and like kind of eliminating the 12.5 and the smaller one down the bottom there. So that's that one. We have quite a nice spread of people. People in the party have predominantly been playing it for like 3 to 4 months, which is interesting. Smallest proportion is actually my generation, because I was, I believe I was, no, hang on, no, I was 7 to 8. I'm in that 80.8% bracket, along with, so I don't know what to say about it really, because it's quite an interesting spread. It's not like we all joined on one day, and it kind of just shows how the party kind of just accepts whoever as long as they're willing to work, really. It's fairly interesting. Like, we have the largest proportion being 3 to 4 months. I'm not sure how 3 to 4 months ago. I think it was a major baby boom. I can't quite remember. I'm assuming that's what it is, because that would make sense. Otherwise, I have no clue what caused that. So, whatever there. So let's go on to the next statistic. This one I felt I should add, because it's always good, because there's been a lot of debate in RR about government type, so I thought I'd put this in there. So yeah, 75% executive monarchy. I thought that would be a lot bigger. Like, a lot bigger. We have one person each trying to suggest dictatorship or parliamentary republic, and I think that's fairly interesting considering the makeup of the party. I have 2 presidential republicans even. It's interesting to see that despite the like the kind of executive monarchy kind of, and all the experiments you've had, like recently you went through the dominant party system, I can't remember the response, but I remember someone said it's rubbish, it's garbage, go back, which was I think an appropriate response to dominant party. It's not the best system in the world, so so yeah, I expected the executive monarchy branch to be a lot bigger, honestly, so it's interesting to see that presidential republic is still fairly popular in the party. That's just very strange to me. This one I found interesting, like particularly, because I honestly expected there to be a bigger pluralist democracy. We have, I think, 4 people who suggest monarchy as a system outside of RR. What I think may have happened there is that they've misunderstood the question, and gone and thought about it in like RR again, which would have been interesting. But I genuinely don't want to assume bad things about the intelligence of people in the party, so I'm gonna chalk that down to people actually wanting monarchy, which is surprising, to be honest. And we have one person putting down democratic federal parliamentary republic. I can't think of any real world examples of that, honestly. The closest I can really think of is Germany with the federal stuff. I'm not sure if it's a parliamentary republic or not. I don't think it is. because it has a president. I don't know. I'd have to look into that, but it's interesting to really kind of see the mindset of the party, like in terms of real life. And we get more of that as we scroll down, which actually surprisingly contradicts the top one if you take a look at it. So we have 25% appear advocating monarchy in real life, and yet we have the like a massive wing of the party, like the green and the yellow and the red ones, I believe. Yeah, so we have 26% of the liberalism, like fundamentally, therefore, not really pro-government. No, what do you mean not really pro-government? That's a stupid way of putting it. Not really, fond of authority. And then we have the Social Democrats here, who do definitely not be very pro-monarchy. And then we have the Democratic Socialists who would definitely be violently opposed to monarchy. So, yeah. Oh, I have two people in chat. I've only just noticed. Oh, the difference between Democratic Socialism and Social Democracy. The difference there. I'll come to yours in a second, Big G. The difference is Democratic Socialism kind of wants to control the commanding heights of the economy and advocates nationalisation of certain industries for the welfare of the people. It's run by the state. Whereas Social Democrats kind of argue that, in kind of a Keynesian kind of way, is it Keynesian? I can't remember if it's Keynesian kind of manner, that you should have money to spare in investing in the economy if it goes wrong. So, 2008 crash, that kind of thing. That was a perfect example of Keynesianism. But I'm rambling. So, Democratic Socialists nationalise. Social Democrats tend to hire out private companies to do it, but still have some control in it. So, and also tends to continue with the Thatcherite policies in terms of the economic model. They borrowed a lot from Thatcherism, it's interesting to see. I'm not a Thatcherite. I don't like the ideology at all, but they kind of put a left-wing twist on it, which I kind of fancy a bit more. I'm more like the left wing of the social so kind of leaning on democratic socialism. So yeah. Yeah, Aiden. I remember one person put centrism. I told him that that's pretty much liberalism. It's because liberalism is very much on the centrist kind of lines. If you're a social democrat, then not social democrat, liberal democrat, you're very much in the middle. I should have put that as an option in hindsight. I didn't. What I think I tried to do was I tried to put liberalism in the middle and libertarianism on the extreme. But yeah, you don't really have to be on. I really do empathise with Aiden's position of not being left or right wing. It can be confusing. It can be really it's just what's best, pragmatic solutions and all. So yeah. Oh, in which case, Big G, did you answer the census, by the way, Big G? Or wait, are you actually? I don't know. I can't remember where you're from. I'm really sorry. I can't remember, but I'll answer your two things now, Big G. So, the UK is a constitutional monarchy. Yep. What do you mean by? Wait. So, what do you mean by imperialist? Do you mean expansionist imperialist, or do you mean just kind of checking? And I want to, yeah. Oh yeah, I know you are. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know you are. Crap. And Aiden, I 100% sympathise with that opinion, because it is polarising at the moment. Things are kind of polarising, and I feel like this party's got quite a nice spread. We don't have many right-wingers, which is interesting considering we're a nationalist party. So yeah. Anyway, Big G. So I'm guessing you're kind of expansionist imperialist. And yeah, the constitutional monarchy does work great, but mainly because the monarchy doesn't do much. The monarchy kind of sits there and signs things. And yeah, national to an extent is okay. But I don't. I'm very internationalist. I don't really tolerate like my tribe is better than your tribe kind of things. So are you National Socialist, Echo? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going there. Just reading through the chat, it's actually kind of interesting. If you watch the stream back, then you can see it. But I will quickly read it out. So yeah, there's so yeah. So yeah, I the things with the census, I didn't see many conservatives at all, or any kind of like fascists and neo. Actually, I'll explain something very quickly if we go to the second page of this. I separated out lots of the right wing into different groups, and I think we had a Thatcherite. We did have a Thatcherite. I was right. No pun intended. So I also separated out neoconservatism, which is very strange. I also separated out interwar fascism, Nazism, and neo-fascism because I regard them as separate. Luckily, no one really is in that ballpark, so I didn't have to explain it. But if anyone's interested, I'll explain why I've separated them out. If you PM me or anyone else in chat, because I find it pretty interesting personally, but I'm a bit of a nerd, so yeah. I don't think the monarchy would last if it did anything. It would. You'd have the Republicans going crazy and then kind of going, it's a breach on liberty, and they would disappear very quickly, because Britain is very much a liberal state. The monarchy's kind of survived, and I like the fact it's survived. I like having a monarchy, but you can't really say let's bring back like royal power, because that no one would react well to it. It would destroy the makeup of our political system entirely. So Ed, what do you mean by people don't take into account that, like, just that's a direct quote? I don't know what you're referring to there. How so? Like, how do you mean monarchies can impact ideologies themselves? I'm not like challenging. I'm just kind of trying to understand the point, because I. Well, I mean, yeah, I can kind of agree with you there, but monarchies are intrinsically authoritarian. I'm going to make the distinction at the moment between left and right wing and authoritarian and libertarian. So, monarchies can be left or right wing, mainly right wing, but like left wing in terms of economics. So, they're going to be authoritarian by nature, but there are also monarchies that kind of sit back and kind of like relax the control. Oh, so you sympathise with you? Yeah, I see what you mean there. Like, if you're a monarchy, you're going to be authoritarian by nature. If you're a proper monarchy, you're going to be authoritarian by nature, and you can definitely be sympathetic with either side. And the thing is, it depends on the extent to which a monarchy is in the system, the political system. So with our monarchy, it's much easier for the monarch to be sympathetic to a left-wing cause, because they're not necessarily in charge of government, and they're not really in the system. They're symbolically in the system, but they're not. Right, because Britain's weird. It does the monarchy is in the system, and it's there for a symbolic purpose, but it's separate because of how the royal prerogative has been passed down to Parliament, and how they kind of lost their power. So yeah, I see what you mean. I'm starting to understand Aiden's point. Yeah, that the monarchy can definitely... It does depend on the monarchy, that's a decent point. I started rambling there, I do apologise. So any other questions regarding the political ideology section? Any complaints regarding the political ideology section? Because I tried to make it as broad as possible. I probably should have broken down the left wing a little bit more, because I definitely broke down the right wing a lot. But I am generalising with left and right wing. I know there's different variables you can take into account, like authoritarianism and libertarianism. You know, it's kind of complicated, but I try to make it simple for the extent of, for the purposes of this census, because it does get messy. I should have put like a neutral option in there in hindsight. That'd have been interesting to see. But yeah, I'm gonna move on. So in terms of the platform people play this game on, we see lots more using mobile. I personally use a computer because the App Store doesn't have rival regions that works well, and if I try and use rival regions on my phone, I have to use Facebook, and that means making a new account, and that's just a pain in the ass. So I'm never going to do that. I know, it's insane. Egolus, you could have voted against Draco. You could have 100% done that. You didn't. Be quiet. But sorry, that was harsh. What platform do you play? But yeah, in terms of that's not surprising. The platform you play on, because I hear lots of people say mobile's better, and I don't disagree. I should have put both option, because let's be honest, quite a lot of people use both. Because they go away on tube or whatever, on the tube, I don't even live in London. They go away out to work and they look at their phone, and they get home and get on the computer. They're using Discord, they're playing video games, that sort of thing. Quite a lot of the people who play are also gamers. So obviously a dichotomy. I feel like people took this question as which should I do more, which is probably a better way of answering the question, so I think that's gone okay consideringly. Brilliant, good job, brain. But yeah, so that's not really something we can talk about in detail, it's just a simple fact. So Draco or not Draco was not a surprise, because there haven't been many contests for leadership of the party that haven't been memes, and those that weren't memes have kind of left and pitted out and gone to do other things. So, like the one, like Wonder last election was really funny, because he was winning for a while, and then he kind of came back, but it was just a meme, so it's fine. But I think that it's unlikely that Draco's going to be taken down in the near future or the far future. Oh Christ, that's a massive. I'm going to look at Will's post and continue quickly. Well, as much as that's a decent point in regard to Syria, I feel like it has to be a government representative who decides that sort of thing, because it's a matter of, it's the people who end up suffering as a result of war, more so than the monarchy. But you can say that and all, but think about it if it's something that the people want. We're going to talk about Syria now. Okay, we'll go on to that in a minute. Well, the thing is, if it's something that you don't want to happen, and it's a popular decision, and it's a matter for Parliament, and it is technically a royal prerogative, the monarchy can say we're not going to war if they really wanted to. but they won't because it's a terrible thing to do, because it's a matter for the government representatives. And think about it another way. If it was the decision that the majority of the people wanted and the monarch said no, then it'd be a very different story. And just because you disagree with it and the monarchy I feel like that's got the potential of a really dangerous line of thought, where as long as they agree with me on this issue, they can override the majority, which I think is a dangerous kind of opinion. But yeah, we can disagree there. That's totally fine. But I feel like it's good that the monarchy is here, but in a limited capacity, because it's always good to have that kind of age-old voice of reason. But then again, it is still a person, and people have agendas, and people do stupid things. Like, if last year taught me anything, or the start of this year taught me anything, is that people are stupid because we ate Tide Pods. It's a fact. We ate Tide Pods. Like, you can't deny it. That makes us stupid as a very species. So, but yeah. In terms of Syria, though, it's an interesting debate. Because if we and the thing is, I think that we should go into Syria and do something. But again, I think Will does have a point that it could be dangerous. I think some limited capacity would be good, but I feel like if we are to go in, there should definitely be a plan for post building, because what happened with Iraq, which was a stupid thing, oh my god, they just left it. They left it and it just hasn't recovered. Same with Afghanistan. Same with Libya. That didn't go well, because it's just worse off. Just based on Russians are around. True. But the problem with interventionism nowadays is that people don't stay behind to sort out the problem like they used to. So for instance, after the Second World War, we had the Marshall Plan, which funded quite a lot of the European economies, and we don't really get that kind of and it also had, if you take Germany for example, the Americans really propped up the FRG in its first years, and actually were a decent occupying government for a while. So it's a matter of actually getting that. What do you mean by only Putin has that power, though? In what regard? But yeah, the fact that he's gassed his own citizens is horrific, but there has to be some sort of plan put in place before we go in. It's that simple. We don't want to repeat of Iraq. We have to make sure intel's good this time. And we don't want to have a direct confrontation with Russia. That is also a very important kind of aspect. The thing is, the UK can definitely survive, in terms of a war with Russia. Economically. Militarily, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that, because we don't have any real military power left. We have to go and protect Europe, and the issue is that Russia control gas flow into Europe. So, for instance, places like Germany are 60% dependent, I think. No, Germany's 40% dependent, and the further east you go, the more dependent they are. And obviously, you can see that in foreign policy, because whenever Russia does anything a bit edgy around Britain, you find the further east they go, the more cautious they are about condemning it, which is really quite interesting to see. But yeah, a war in Syria, I'm not sure. It needs to be debated properly in Parliament, pros and cons weighed up, and I'll wait until after the debate to really have an opinion on it. I just know about the foreign policy consequences and the flaws of previous Middle Eastern intervention as policy. So it's a matter of kind of having that debate and thinking about planning and not just going straight in. So, sorry about that. That's my rant about Syria. This got sidetracked. I'm very sorry. I go off on tangents really easily. So this next one, overall performance. This was mostly expected, in my view. So Draco is excellent in regards to most people's opinions, and doesn't dip below average. Only one person rated Draco as average, which was interesting. Because people regard him as very efficient, etc. Very good at what he does. He's good at management. He manages people well. And by management, I mean shouts at people. But that's kind of self-explanatory. Let's go on with that one. Wonder is an interesting one. I expected him to get higher in terms of scoring, because he does a very good job as MOE. So I'd expect that score to be a lot higher. I don't expect the... What do you mean, fuck off, fam? What have I done, Aiden? You can respond, I'll keep going through this. But, he swipes hard, he works hard, does a very good job. Oh, actually, I put your name down. Don't worry. You can. We'll get to you eventually, Aiden. Don't worry, we'll get to you eventually. But yeah, Wonder's a good MOE. And you can see that because most of the score doesn't dip below good. I think, how many? Only one person rated him as poor. Exceptionally poor. He's very good at what he does, and I respect Wonder a lot, actually. He's brilliant at what he does. So I think he's part of the reason why we're so powerful now. So yeah, if we move on to Ice Snacks. For someone who hasn't been around very long in the pie, he's got a pretty decent reputation. Most regard him as excellent, but the next one is average, and kind of some regard him as good, which means there's a kind of I see that as a kind of unsure kind of thing. Since he's new, he's done a lot in foreign policy. Some people don't really know him very well, and doesn't really know what he's been doing. I can personally attest he is very good at the diplomatic stuff and memes, mainly memes. Yeah, it's interesting to see. Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back in a minute. I gotta go quickly do something I've forgotten about. I'm back in 5 minutes tops. Alright. You can look over the stats and decide whether you think Tifrid is justified having a poor rating. I'm back. Yeah, to conclude, Ice Snacks, I think that's justified considering, but wrong. He should be getting a lot higher on the excellent and good kind of field. So Tifrid, he's an interesting one, because he works really hard in real life, and he runs the newspaper. The Welsh National newspaper. I can't remember what it's called now, I'm an idiot. Welsh Freedom News? Think that's it. I'm probably wrong because I'm a moron. So, many rate him as excellent, which is interesting to see. Because he does work hard when he writes articles, creative writing degree, pretty good. And, good. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory in hindsight, because he isn't really around much, and I expected his stuff to be a little bit higher, but But anyway, on to me. I put me in there as a meme, to be fair. Um, Aiden. So sorry. So I expected my stats to be lower. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect to get that many excellents. I was expecting an average of around average to poor. Because I'm not really involved in the pie very much. Don't really do much. I really only do these censuses, and I mean, really just this was made before the podcast. So that was surprising. It's quite flattering to see that, to be honest. But it should be low in my mind. If it was actually reflective of ability, it should be much lower. But yeah, moving on to Aiden. Aiden is the group meme, manage an average score. But I think he should be happy at the fact that he has quite a lot of people, more people regarded him as above average than below average. I'm saying that most people regard you as average. Overall, you're above average, Aiden, so be happy with that. So yeah. No, you're better than average. So yeah, don't worry. You're not crap. So yeah, if we look at the what should be changed about management, lots of people saying nothing. Ego should be in charge. That's I wonder who wrote that. We have some people saying expansion, which is not likely anytime soon. So yeah, lots of kind of status quo kind of things going on here. So yeah. This one! I haven't seen that yet. Oh, Jesus. So we have a very clear favouriteist kind of bias for Celtic Kingdom. People wanting, so we've got 81% wanting to help the Celtic Kingdom, 75% British Republic, and only 37.5% Northern Republic. That's not surprising. We haven't had a very good relationship in the past with NR. So yeah, it's interesting to see. Like, I expected the British Republic and Celtic Kingdom to be a bit further apart, to be honest, because British Republic's kind of new. I value relations a lot, but since they're new, I imagine a lot of people would kind of be like, not sure. But that's interesting to see. This one's topical. So people asking what the best move for Welsh security is in terms of blocks. We had most people suggesting remaining in the AUN. Wonder how much that's changed now. We have the next biggest emoji joining or creating a new wider block. Congratulations, green guys. It's gone well. It's gone well for you lot. But yeah, 25%. That 25% is an interesting one. People want a new British block. And that's interesting to see. Because I wouldn't really want a British block. I want a British grouping. British grouping would be nice. I don't know how many people saw the stream with the Constitution I did. But I like that, where it's you can be in a block, but you also have the British subgroup, regardless of block politics. So that's interesting to see, in my mind. So perhaps that blue figure is actually now smaller than it was, and it's all kind of petted into the joining or creating a new wider block, or potentially the British block. I don't know. I'll have to ask around based on the people who have done the quiz. Finally, the most important question. It's good to see the majority of the party aren't weirdos. Who likes pineapple on pizza? What is wrong with you? 4 people like pineapple on pizza. I am appalled and ashamed. I'm tempted to go for individual reports and shame you guys, but I'm not going to, because I understand that it's an opinion, even if it's wrong. So anyway, that's been me going through the going through the stats and figures. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. I'm planning on doing one of these for an overall British Isles. This is going to be a cancerous thing to go through, but I'm going to do an overall British Isles survey at some point. So I feel like that'd be interesting to go through. And if you enjoyed this, please let me know. I'd be happy to do it again with the next one. If it's not interesting to you lot, then I don't need to do another one. I could just do another written article one, which is just more boring for me, but at least it's out there. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. It's been a pleasure doing this. I've had a lot of fun. So I do say again, thank you for watching. Have a good evening, guys.